The club went quiet when the man in black walked in. His heavy footsteps echoed on the tile floor, and his stride was confident. He wore black shoes, black pants, a long black coat over a white button-up with a black tie, and a black fedora that cast a shadow over most of his visage. He made a beeline to the bar, ignoring everyone's sideways glances and whispers, and sat down on a bar stool with force. The bartender, an elf in his mid-300s with dark skin and copper eyes, dressed in black pants with suspenders and a white button-up shirt, turned to his newest customer with the signature cheerful smile of a retail worker that secretly hates everyone. "Welcome to the Midas Club, friend. Name's Ragnar. What can I get for you today?" "I want a stiff drink and information on the international terrorist who's been attacking Genesis." As he said this, he reached for his jacket and pulled it slightly open. Ragnar's eyes immediately went to the wood-like handle of a python in his holster, and his expression changed. Everyone in the room went from quiet to silent as they realized what was about to happen. The customer nearest to the man in black, a dwarf with a scar over his left eye, leaned over and quietly said, "Don't threaten the guy who pours the drinks." The man in black scoffed. "Why? Because everyone in the bar will turn on me?" "Nah, you just really don't want to threaten him." The man in black rolled his eyes as he turned his attention to the elf behind the bar. "Worry about yourself, dwarf. He won't do anything to me. Bad for business, right?" Ragnar's expression softened and he smiled calmly. The man in black was clearly some kind of investigator or inquisitor, working for some government agency or crime network or whatever. He was familiar with people who liked to be nosy, but this one was more aggressive. It's not every day one of his customers would so brazenly brandish their fangs. This'll be interesting, Ragnar thought. Ragnar had just finished the drink and set it on the table when he replied, "Of course. I'm no brute. I am but a simple man trying to run this club as well as I can." The man in black smirked as he took the drink and took a swig from it. He glanced around, observing his surroundings. Ignoring the customers, who mostly looked like some kind of criminal, the place seemed very nice and well kept, sans the slightly tasteless golden decor and accents on almost everything. The drinks they had on stock looked rather decent, with one or two that looked rather expensive just at a glance. It was fitting, but still tasteless in his opinion. "Very good, Mr. Falin. You've had this place for a while, right?" "For about 50 years now," Ragnar replied. He wasn't surprised this goon knew his last name. The cops kept extensive records on everyone, and just about anyone could cough up some green for the surface-level information necessary to track someone down. "Yeah. I'll be honest, we're aware what happens here. A lot of you underworld folk like to gather here and conduct their business. It's not hard to imagine you specifically like to take a cut from their profits to make sure you're quiet." He picked up his drink and briefly tipped it towards Ragnar as though offering some kind of cheer. "That sort of arrangement is pretty nice. It'd be a shame if something happened and it all got ruined." Ragnar continued to smile calmly. "I tend to agree. I can assure you I intend to cooperate with you to the best of my ability. This establishment is everything I have, after all. Clearly, I have too much to lose." "Very good, Mr. Falin. Now, where is he?" "Mister, in all my years, I have never met this international terrorist before." "You understand I could have you arrested for harboring a criminal, Mr. Falin. We know he's been to your establishment. Do you know the penalty to that?" Ragnar crossed his arms. This man spoke like a lawman but didn't show his badge. Perhaps a bounty hunter? Whatever he was, the man in black shouldn't have signed up if he didn't know what he was getting himself into. "Why, sir, I don't think there's much need for that kind of talk. I've already told you I'm more than happy to cooperate with you and whoever it is you represent. Unfortunately, I'm getting old, so forgive me if my memory needs some help. What does this man look like?" The man in black nodded. Ragnar noticed him starting to look uncomfortable as he took a moment to swallow another swig, this time with force before clearing his throat. "Pale skin, violet eyes, pointed ears, long dark brown hair. He held up a finger as he swallowed again, harder than before continuing. "He usually wears a long black coat over some kind of armor. He calls himself Stormblade. Ring any bells, Mr. Falin?" "Now that you mention," Ragnar replied as the man in black finished off his drink, "I think I've seen him. I was out at the store getting more drinks for the bar, and I saw him getting some drinks of his own. I didn't think to say anything to him because I didn't think him being around was any of my business. Where? The man in black pulled out a white handkerchief and coughed into it before swallowing again. Where was this? South side of town. Ragnar had to keep from chuckling as the man in black looked at his handkerchief and barely hid in horror. Hope you find who you're looking for. Man in black looked up at Ragnar and nodded. Thank you for your time, Mr. Falin. With that, the man in black stood and started to walk away. About halfway to the door, the man coughed again, his handkerchief now more crimson than the sterile white it was before. His vision blurred, and he felt like something was stuck in his throat. Then the nausea hit, and he felt like a palm tree swaying in a hurricane. He then turned away from the door and headed to the bathroom. Had his vision not been as blurry, or if the lights had been any brighter, the man in black would have noticed the man he was looking for sitting at a table in the corner next to the bathroom. Pale, violet eyes with dark blue sclerae, pointed ears, and dressed in dark clothing. He stood from his table and approached the bar. How much do I owe? For a long-time customer such as yourself, Ragnar's smile changed from feigned to genuine. You've already paid for the silence. The drink's on the house if you can take care of the man in the bathroom. And what of the updates on Genesis? I'll send you the bill for that information later. Of course, the pale man replied. You do good work, Ragnar. I do what I can. Information dealing can be a fickle business, but it's work I enjoy. I can understand that. In the meantime, the pale man turned to the rest of the patrons, all of whom now stared at him. They knew who he was. They knew what he was capable of. They were scared. But the pale man smiled and pulled a large roll of cash out of his coat and set it on the bar. A round on me for every thirsty freak here! The club erupted into cheering and applause. Ragnar sighed but continued to smile as he joined the applause and his favorite customer started to walk away. Pleasure doing business with you, Stormblade.